Welcome back. NBA salary cap draft analysis, salary cap draft prep. I'm just going to slam it in today. We're going to slam it in. I've got some prep, but this is going to be a freestyle analysis. We're no longer calling it auction draft strategy. We're not using the term auction anymore. It's salary cap. We're not auctioning players like that. We're paying them salaries. So this is salary cap draft analysis for the NBA. And I know that primarily, we got this started by dominating fantasy baseball statistics, and then we spilled over into being three league studs, some NFL and some NBA where we dabble. And it was a singular one person letting me know that they know that this NBA analysis stays tight, stays on point, that with the league quickly approaching, I couldn't help but to slam in one quick NBA salary cap draft analysis so that you can quickly and easily dominate your leagues. I might not do a follow up. It's going to be coming at you in three pieces here, and I might try to know what it is. This is about movement, and the reason I'll just say to just vet myself, the NBA comes easily to me. I played a lot of basketball. I see players that are good. It's easy for me to scout. Mixed in with some trend analysis, these numbers are easy. Baseball numbers are nuanced, and we get into the nuance of nuance, but basketball is easy. So let's just take the easy stuff off the top. Let's take the low-hanging fruit. My main plan, I don't want to hide the ball, so before you check out, we're going to do some main players. I'm just going to drop some names of some guys coming in hot to build around. We'll move through an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference movement to let you know where my head is at. Of course, I'll mention where I'm getting my stats from. I'll go through my rankings as I've laid it out so that you focus in on high-end players. Because high-end there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of cacophony of noise out there. We're going to get you the high-end players first. And then we will go in because salary cap draft, there's no analysis on this. We live in ADP, in a world of ADP. So we're going to get into Yahoo auction draft, just some glaring mistakes, some obvious mistakes, and how to just easily win those drafts. So let's just slam it in. Let's just slam it in here. Just some main players, just so that you can always remember, these few guys. Jason Tatum is said to have grown 2 inches. There's going to be no discount on him. We have Hayward, who's left Boston. That's going to free up some more touches for Tatum. Looking on him to take another step forward. Sabonis at Indiana. Sabonis is a beast. Don't sleep on him. And the reason I point these guys out is just to be in their heart on the double-doubles. And Sabonis is one of those double-doubles guys who looks like he's coming in really aggressively. Obviously, a Ben Simmons. And I am slightly down on Ben because I don't see enough aggression from the shooting perspective. But I like how the team has moved some players around that we'll get into. And Ben is a double-double threat from the assist side. His teammate, obviously, Joel Embiid. Look for more there as he's getting older and learns his body, gets a little healthier. Julius Randle, again, he's young. He's on a trashy Knicks team. He rebounds about 8 to 9 rebounds a game. I don't know if he'll be a true double-double threat, but he's a ball hog, and I think he'll have some value there. Blake Griffin, who we're going to have to talk about a little bit because Drummond is gone. Now, true, if you own Blake, it feels like it's only a matter of time before one of those knees goes out. But while Drummond isn't there, Blake will be displaying his arsenal of skills, his mid-range game, his propensity to shoot. He's going to be all over the place. I'm just firing down. That was my Eastern Conference. Just some guys where I think they're going to be a little cheap. And I think if you hover in there, you'll be safe. I want to cut through the static. You're going to hear a lot of player names, and we just got to pull the cream out. We're pulling the cream of the cream out, and especially in your salary drafts, you're buying the cream, and you're sloughing off the fat. Horton Tucker at the Los Angeles Lakers, and yeah, there's going to be some hype emerging from his preseason outbursts, and I scouted some Horton Tucker. He plays long. He has an extremely long frame, long arms, big hands. You can just see him from the video. He's very efficient with the rock, so he's got a lot of carry in him. He's got a very deliberate game. He has a huge step back. I mean, he seems to get 6 feet of separation on a very well-balanced step back. He can yam it. So I don't really believe in Wesley Matthews. I think there's a chance that Horton Tucker takes on a major role here. And from his outbursts alone and then looking into the game, I think there's something really happening there. Another Laker, Montrezl Harrell, who will be fighting for some minutes with Gasol. Marc Gasol is getting older, so he's someone they kind of like to save. He'll be in their rebounding limited minutes, but Montrezl's game continues to emerge. And watch out if he maybe takes a step forward and forces the Lakers' hands to play him while they rest some of the other players. John Wall, another injury mess. Depending on what happens with Harden. Harden wants out of Houston. John Wall's at Houston. If Harden leaves, John will be the guy. John's getting over some knee injuries. I don't know if he had microfracture surgery, so it's a little bit in that Blake Griffin category. These guys are 30. They're getting a little older. But John Wall is a high assist guy. I think he's a higher natural assist guy than maybe Russ was. But I like John Wall to maybe provide some value. Going into Portland, he missed a lot of the season, so he can kind of slip out of your mind a little bit. I think it's a Yusef Nurkic, straight up Nurkic in Portland. He's a big boy. He's got scoring prowess around the rim. I think he'll be the only big man in the game, and he can rebound in a double-double way. And the hype is raising up for a Harry Giles III, also in Portland. Just a rookie name, somebody coming in, playing aggressively, getting steals, very jump-stoppy around the rim, can finish, can slam it down. Ja Morant, somebody that we were right on last season, looking for Ja to take another step forward. My only issue with Ja not really getting to the next superstar level is more of a propensity to shoot, to just gun, to get his. We like guys that get 15 shots off a game. What's even better, 20 shots a game. Real gunners. And Ja just has the occasional night when he only wants to take 11 or 12 shots. If he would just get that out of his game, continue to be the assist man that he is, you're looking at 18 and 10, possibly an assist leader. So Morant is crazy. I think Valanciunas, he got off to a slow start with the foot last season. Another double-double threat. Hasn't really reached his true peak. I think he can be of value. Another second-year player, DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix. Just very studly, occasional nights off. The only thing keeping him from being a true superstar is those nights off, those low-shooting nights and some foul trouble. Watch out for that. We've got Whiteside, moved over to Sacramento, always slept on, but just absorbs rebounds. He's so big. If he stays healthy and gets his minutes, I think Whiteside is easy money. I'm still buying Zion Williamson in heavy shares. Sure, the explosiveness, the body type may make him be a doctor injury risk, but we're not going to sleep on getting a lot of Zion. Karl-Anthony Towns is obvious, and obviously Steph Curry, because we've got gunners leaving. No more D'Angelo gunning him, no more Durant. We didn't see what he did last season, but maybe Steph has to average 37 points a game in order for Golden State to get wins this year. Those are my couple obvious creme de la creme players getting you the double-doubles, making it easy for you this season. So let's segue over Eastern Conference. I line these guys up, and let me just give you a little background. I'm messing with some DFS. So I'm setting this up for DFS, but I don't feel that I'm ready to bring you guys a DFS analysis because right now my YouTube video would be like, watch JLee lose at DFS. Let's all lose together. Let's set up lineups and not win DFS. So I don't have it for you there, but some of this is coming from a DFS kind of perspective as I ready myself, but it just makes salary cap drafts all that much more easier. That's why I had to come slam it in with you guys here. So going through the Eastern Conference in order by how these teams finished last year, so you'll recognize them. We have the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, this is his league. He is the number one player. Don't debate it. Don't get cute. His dominance is real, and it's going to continue. The real movement here is a Drew Holiday coming over and an Eric Bledsoe leaving. I don't want to sleep on Middleton, who is going to be kind of a ho-hum regular guy, but is nice. Is going to come cheap. That's a value guy you can trust. because he's a gunner and they rely on him for some mid-range scoring. But Drew Holiday's the X factor here. I think Drew had a down year, getting lost in the mix at the New Orleans Pelicans, having to deal with Lonzo and Ingram who doesn't pass and all that stuff. So this could be a better situation for Holiday to maybe give you a little bit more. So I trust those three on the Milwaukee Bucks. We get over to Toronto. Pascal Siakam came on really hot. He's still my guy there. I'm seeing 22-9. How much of a step forward is there? I'm not sure, because maybe not enough propensity to get his own shot off. We have Von Vliet getting a lot more looks at point guard, and obviously the aging, where is he, the other point guard there? I didn't even put his name down because he's been a little bit injured. The name will come back to me. But I'm sitting around Siakam. This team plays a lot of guys. Oh, Kyle Lowry. So Kyle's going to be there. Von Vliet has emerged. I don't see any amazing upside. Kyle's getting older and he's injury prone. Von Vliet was good, but I think that physically he might be limited from being a true superstar. So we'll get back in with some Siakam there. Moving to the Boston Celtics. Hayward leaves, so the ball will stop getting clogged up in his hands and his shots will come back into the game. That leaves us with Walker and Smart at the guard spots, Jaylen Brown, who they paid big money, who is emerging, but emerging into what? 18-4-4, 18-6-2. Is he really going to be able to get 25 a game? I don't think there's true superstar potential. So I'm focusing on Tatum on the Celtics. I think that Kemba's best days might be behind him, and he's distributing. The other thing that I don't like is a Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague comes in off the bench and just gets his. Not enough for Teague alone to be fantasy relevant, but he's constantly sapping points from other guards. He can play both guard positions, so that might sap a little from Kemba, sap a little from Marcus Smart. We do see an injured Tristan Thompson coming over to the Celtics to battle for some center points with Theus and Robert Time God Williams, but Tristan isn't healthy right now. I do like Tristan to get his, again, be a double-double threat, but that's after the back gets right. Don't sleep on Tristan, who really kind of broke out last season in Cleveland, earned him a spot on the Boston Celtics. The Indiana Pacers, as I said, you could go back a couple years and think that Miles Turner's and Arvydas Sabonis and not know who's better, but it's Sabonis now. It's not. I don't know. This is the son of the great Sabonis, who used to play for the Portland Trailblazers. So he's got legacy game, and Sabonis, the body is getting better. His game is expanding. He's very young. And just from what's happening in the preseason, he could be a scary breakout player. 22-12, 25-12 as they start to really feed him. So I'm very high on Sabonis here. Malcolm Brogdon. So there's so many guys in Indiana. You've got to sort through Brogdon. Oladipo, is he healthy? TJ Warren, when is that going to happen? But TJ doesn't do anything else. The change, points is where we want to get it consistently, but the change, the assists and the rebounds, maybe the blocks and the steals. Warren doesn't do the change. He's got no change. It's just points. And the nights when the points aren't there, it's a sad night for him. Oladipo has shown the explosiveness, but is the knee right? And he's got to deal with a Justin Holiday and an Aaron Holiday, part of the Holiday brothers trio. I like Malcolm Brogdon. I know he's going to have his big nights, but he doesn't really seem to be the dominant player from an athleticism standpoint. I can be comfortable with Brogdon, but I'm not expecting more. I'm not going to get hype on Brogdon early in last season when he was the man by himself and that he's going to have to share the rock a little bit. The Miami Heat, we know who it is here. It's Jimmy the professional Butler, with the Bam Adebayo, looking for Adebayo to do more and take a step forward. Goran Dragic had a great in the bubble season, but you got Nunn and Hero and possibly Robinson. So the only two guys I like here is Jimmy Butler, who's getting a little older. He gives you the change. So where Jimmy might give you 22 a game, 24 a game, he'll give you 6 and 6. So Jimmy's going to be locked and loaded. Bam Adebayo to take the step forward. They really have no other power forward. A Philadelphia 76ers team. Joel Embiid, who I love. I got to figure out what's up with the minutes restrictions. I like that Al Horford is gone. Get Al Horford out of here. Moved him to OKC. That's going to give the rebounds and clear up the lane for Embiid. Simmons hasn't taken the step forward. If Simmons had a jumper, he might be Luka Doncic, but he doesn't have a jumper, so he doesn't stretch the game. He's only taking 11 to 12 shots a game. That's unacceptable from a Ben Simmons. I don't know where his game evolves to, but it hasn't evolved yet. We haven't seen it yet. So don't be too hype on his game taking another step forward. He could be like an 11, 11, and 11 kind of triple-double type player. Seth Curry, who they brought over to play the two guard, I'm not believing in it. We're seeing a Shake Milton outplay Curry in the preseason, so I don't know who's going to play the two guard spot. You also have to watch out because Harden wants to go to Philly in exchange for Simmons. What would Harden do to this team? Because Harden is a ball hog. Is that going to help him beat? So there's a lot of moving pieces in Philly, but the constant that I like here that's quiet is Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is just legitimate. It's a quiet. Is that Tobias? Do you believe in him? He's 27. Not a lot of hype, but just journeyman game. He shoots the three. He's 18 and 8 in the bank. A little bit of change on the side. So I like Tobias Harris as like an easy casual pick to get you into. Brooklyn Nets. Who's going to get hurt first? Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving? What are the egos going to mesh like in here? I mean, Durant post-Achilles rupture. Kyrie just breaking down in front of our eyes. They're both gunners. They both have a lot of potential. I don't know if I want to spend a lot on such injury-prone players, but I do like a Spencer Dinwiddie, who, if and when those injuries happen, Dinwiddie will emerge and do what he does. We also have Karis LeVert, who needs the rock more. So there's a lot of noise on this team. You can't really trust Dinwiddie because if he's coming off the bench and he's the third fiddle, fourth fiddle behind Durant and Kyrie, you've got LeVert. And the center position between DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen is going to continue to be a mess. Jordan getting the first look. It's just kind of like get some Dinwiddie and wait for that to shake out and wait for it to emerge. Orlando, and I didn't mention his name, but we have a Sasha Vucevic. Vucevic, the center for Orlando, he blew up and then he took a little step back, and that cooled people. And then last year he was good again. But I think what we have to realize is how young he is and how big he is, and that Vooch looks like he could be taking another big leap forward, a double-double machine that's 20 and 10 in the basket. So I really like getting pieces of Vucevic here. And the guy I'm seeing in the preseason, the number one overall draft pick, Markelle Fultz, finally got through the shoulder, finally picked a jumper, maybe is asserting himself. He's got handles, he's got court vision, and we're seeing some numbers from him early in the season. Don't forget about a Markelle Fultz, who I like much more than Evan Fournier or Bacon, and even Aaron Gordon, who's kind of shown us his ceiling. And he's a good player, but he's a heartbreaker in some way. So I'm looking at those couple guys there as we keep it moving. The Washington Wizards, Westbrook goes over and Bradley Beal goes over. And here we have the collision of two gunners with high usage rates. Westbrook was a little injured. Just don't sleep on him. Westbrook is his whole career, he's gonna take 20 shots a game. He's gonna get the shots off. He's gonna rebound and he's gonna assist. And no one's gonna stop him from doing that. Not Bradley Beal, not Rui Hachimura, not Thomas Bryant. So you can trust Westbrook, and if there's any value coming on a Westbrook, get back in there. I know he's in his 30s, but Bronny's 35 and Russ is probably 31 or 32. I'm trusting in a Russ Westbrook. Bradley Beal took the step forward, mostly in points. He's not a true passer. He's not a true rebounder. I like Bradrick Beal, but we'll have to see what he really gives. Thomas Bryant faded on us late in the season. Rui Hachimura, I'm not sure. So Russ is my guy there. We get down to Portland, who I talked a good amount about. I talked about a Harry Giles III, Dame Lillard, obviously, McCollum gunning, but no other change. You got Carmelo kind of resurging himself, but might be on a minutes cap. I mean, Dame is really the story in Portland, and I mentioned Nurkic. We're not going to spend too much time there. The Charlotte Hornets, they bring in Hayward. So that's going to kind of flatten. That's going to slow the ball down. Hayward's going to get his 15 shots a game. He's not really going to pass. He's going to get some rebounds. And then we got to work through the guard situation between Rozier and Devontae Graham. And I like a Devontae Graham. I think Devontae Graham just emerged. Talent won out. He pushed himself off the bench into the starting lineup. He was like, I'm better than Terry Rozier. That's what he said to the Charlotte Hornets. So Graham is going to continue to feast and get his. LaMelo Ball and his Candyland style game with cherry picking and being soft and weak. I don't think he's ready. So I'm not looking for an explosion from LaMelo Ball. Zeller, you can't trust. PJ Washington. What really is the step forward? Is it teens and minimum boards? I mean, he's just not tall enough to dominate on the glass and get me the 10 rebounds I want. And you're keeping an eye on Bridges. So I'm really a Devontae Graham man there. And as I trash Hayward, he'll get something. He'll be consistent, but I'm not going to be paying up there. The Chicago Bulls, obviously Zach LaVine, a gunner, a little bit of assists, a little bit of rebounds, but 25, 4 and 4, maybe 26, 27. I like a Zach LaVine. He's very smooth, but he's nonchalant. He's a casual player. On nights when Zach doesn't get his, it's okay with him because his game is so smooth. And he puts smoothness before a true killer mentality, a Mamba mentality. But Zach is the guy there. Lauri, the magician Markkanen, making himself disappear. I don't think we can trust Markkanen anymore. I think it hurts him to have Otto Porter there, who steals a lot of touches, and the Rockies got Thaddeus Young behind him. Markkanen just doesn't rebound, and maybe the league figured out he was soft, and they could push him off the block and kept him off the board. So he hasn't made the step. He could make the step we saw, but he was one of the biggest regression candidates from last year, and he continues to not take enough shots in the preseason. I like Wendell Carter Jr., but not putting up enough points for me. So I'm so on him there. The real guy to talk about here is a Kobe White. And I thought White was only 6 feet, but he's 6'4". And White has pushed himself into being the starting point guard in Chicago. He reminds me of a Devontae Graham where talent just wins out and he forces himself on the court. I think he's coming cheap. I like him there. The New York Knickerbockers, watch out at center. Mitchell Robinson, the way too far overhyped center, is now going to be fighting with the Nerlens Noel, and Noel appears to be starting in New York. I mentioned Julius Randle, who I'm high on, and I'm also high on R.J. Barrett, who is a very big guard, who knows how to get his shot, who tries to get his shot, who shoots threes, and the Knicks seem to still be committed in him in a way that they are not for Knox, where Knox is not getting better. So I like R.J. Barrett to kind of run the guard position there, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. We've got Elf on the Shelf Elfrid Payton, Smith Jr., whose career is just on a downward trajectory. Alec Burks is over there. Ntilikina is over there. But I do think R.J. Barrett emerges as the true gunner on this team. I think he has a lot of room to take a step forward this season from the guard position because Elf doesn't need his shot. He'll just pass. Those are my guys there. Detroit is interesting. Detroit has nobody. I mean, we have a rookie, Killian Hayes, who's going to be getting his shot. We got Derrick Rose, who they want to take off the bench. DeLone Wright, who I don't take serious. Jeremy Grant is over there now, probably not aggressive enough without enough ball skills. Blake Griffin is just by himself to feast. He's going to be getting all the touches, all the shots he wants. Jahlil Okafor is now with Mason Plumlee on the front lines, unless that's Miles Plumlee. So Ja may reemerge and kind of show you that he can be 18-8. He was very good when he came into the league for the Sixers. We have a rookie, Doumbouya, Doumbouya, to keep our eye on in the preseason. I don't want Detroit players. Maybe the rookie Killian Hayes and a little bit of Blake Griffin. The Atlanta Hawks. Some more player movement here. Obviously, Trae Young is the dude. Phenomenal, likely top 5-6 player. He's going to be double-doubling in points and assists, likely the assist leader, and he's a gunner, and he's going to get threes. John Collins blew up. John Collins' game emerged to the next level, but we bring in Clint Capella. And Clint is tall, and he's a very good rebounder. So what is that going to do to Collins' rebounds? Are they both going to average 10 rebounds a game? I'm not sure. Capella won't average the points that Collins does. We may see the nights off, but I see a lot of lob city happening between Trae Young and Clint Capella already. I'm concerned about the role players from shooting guard to small forward to power forward because the Rooster Danilo Gallinari has arrived. Instant offense. He's going to be doing his 17 and 7 a game. And so what's really going to be left for Bogdanovich, a six-man marauder with Huter, with DeAndre Hunter, with Cam Reddish? And they're just going to, and even I think Warwick Dunn is just a Dunn from Chicago is here. And they're just going to be kind of cannibalizing each other, all kind of gunners, all not passers, all not rebounders, with Collins trying to emerge as a superstar, but Capella being the best rebounder. Stick with Trae Young. There could be some fade for Collins. I think Clint Capella will play well because Trae will feed him and maybe he evolves a little bit offensively. We go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's Andre Drummond. So Drummond leaves Detroit. He jumps in at Cleveland. He's got to fend off Love and Nance for rebounds. Love continues to be consistent. He can't play for me, but at 18 and 9, you've got to mention his name. And then we're dealing with a Cedi Osman, the rookie Okoro, who they're trying to give minutes to, with Garland and Exum and Sexton and Kevin Porter Jr. So the backcourt's a mess. The shooting guard area is a mess. But what we can say is Sexton is a gunner, and he's going to get his 18 to 20 shots off a game. No change, no assists, no rebounds, but he should give it to you in points. I don't know if there's room for him to get better. Garland is a little small. Cedi Osman, I think you can trust in Sexton for cheap. Know that Drummond is still the guy here and that the guards aren't really going to emerge. So that's a little bit of my Eastern Conference. Just focusing on the main guys. I'm not going deep. And like I said, take it in little pieces. Pause, take a break. We're just slamming it in. And then I'm going to slam it in with some orienting who my really elite guys are, and then we'll get to some prices. But let's slam in the Western Conference here. The two main guys, Horton Tucker looks amazing. So he's shooting the three. It's a spot-up three with a nice flick, hand over his head. He looks wet. He's got step-back jumper. So Horton Tucker has jumpers. Bronny wasn't playing. Davis wasn't playing. So I don't know where he mixes in. But if you can hit threes, Bronny's going to find you. Caldwell Pope and Matthews are getting old. We don't have to worry about that. Schroeder wants to gun. So the Lakers have a very good second lineup. They brought in Marc Gasol. They got Montrezl Harrell. They got Kyle Kuzma. A lot of mouths to feed. And like I said last year, you don't sleep on the king. You can't push the king that far down. It doesn't matter how old he is. He's 25, and he doesn't even keep change. He just keeps tens. He keeps dollars on that other side. Bronny's going to be giving you 25, 8, and 8 as a floor. No matter how many minutes, durable. It's not going to miss games. So Bronny's the guy there. Anthony Davis, there's no discount there ever. Focus on those guys. The Clippers, we have a little bit of movement. So we got Patrick Beverley at the 1, Paul George. I like Paul George because it's quiet. The healthy, I think he came off of double shoulder injuries. So Paul could come back to being superstar Paul that he is, not to sleep on him. And then Kawhi. We've got to realize that Kawhi is only 28 years old. Kawhi Leonard, and he forces his shot up. He'll take 22 shots a game. And Kawhi's got a lot of change in the change purse. But he's going to miss games. With the quad management, I don't know if that's getting better or worse. Nicholas Batum came over. He's playing some power forward with a Marcus Morris. The center spot is Serge Ibaka with Zubac. So we got Bach and Bach at the center spot. I think Ibaka doesn't demand the ball enough. He doesn't rebound enough to give you, 15 and 6? It's going to be pretty pedestrian, and Zubac is going to struggle to get minutes now with Ibaka there, probably the better player. So it's Paul George and it's Kawhi as much as you can stomach missed games, and that pushes me back to Paul George. Of course, Lou Williams will come in and gun as a sixth man, but I'm not building my teams around Sweet Lou. Denver, Jokic came in out of shape last season. It doesn't look like that this season. So get back on the Jokic train. Jokic looks like he's on a mission. They got a little taste in the playoffs but didn't get there. He has to take on more responsibility. He has to shoot and score more. Jamal Murray, just a little slow. He's just a little slow foot. He's not that explosive, the blue arrow. So I don't really see a step from him. He also takes a little bit of nights off. So he's 18, 5 and 5. Gary Harris doesn't have it offensively. As much as there was Michael Porter Jr. hype, and Michael Porter Jr. is moving into the starting lineup at small forward, and a Paul Millsap aging, I don't know if Michael Porter Jr. has the real aggression. And nights off are what's going to kill you and balance out some blow-ups and some spikes, when Barton's coming in and getting his. So I'm a little bit cooler on Michael Porter Jr. with the rest of the group. I really just like the Joker again in that spot. We've got Houston. We talked about Wall. We talked about Harden. You know what you're going to get there. They don't have a small forward. House and McLemore, I'm not sure. PJ Tucker and Cabo Loco. But the real interesting play comes at the center here, where Houston adds DeMarcus Cousins coming off an Achilles tear, and Christian Wood, who exploded at the end of last season, has a lot of talent, just needs minutes, needs to get his head right on a consistent basis. So I really like Christian Wood as a sleeper. I really like DeMarcus Cousins because if he even plays, he's just such a skilled player with threes and boards and the total package. So I like the big men in Houston. Those two guys are going to give you more than Clint Capella. And if Harden leaves and maybe Ben Simmons comes in, where does that leave Wood in the mix? Where does that leave Cousins? I like the big men in Houston. OKC. The story is simply Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Giggs. Shai Giggs has the team to himself. Everyone's gone. They brought in George Hill. Chris Paul's gone. The Rooster is gone. You got Cheikh Diallo. Even at center, Al Horford's back with Muscala. So Horford finally in a situation to just do his thing, get his 18 and 9, trail the play for threes as he loves to do. But it's going to be how much can Shai Giggs take on to himself. My issue is this with Shai Giggs. Is he really a superstar? Because in the league, if you're the one scoring, if you're the only option on your team, you'll get doubled. You'll see the number one defender night in and night out. And that's where I'm concerned that Shai Giggs is going to need an extra year. But the opportunity is going to be immense as the keys to the team have been turned over to him. There's a Maladon who I'm seeing in the preseason. It could be a rookie who's kind of emerging, could take George Hill's role. But get heavy shares of Shai Giggs because it could be an explosive season as he's going to be relied on heavily. Utah, no surprises here. Not a lot of movement. Rudy Gobert. Derek Favors is back. They said, hey, Derek, you look good in New Orleans. Come on back over. Utah loves him. They get their former player. Bogdan Bogdanovic showed that he can score. He does have a propensity to shoot. Donovan Mitchell, Conley, the cannibalization. And I like Donnie Mitch. It's just the change is low. It's a little bit light on the rebounds and assists. Donnie's going to be there. Everybody loves him ever since the rookie breakout. But he's a little bit undersized. And with Conley and Ingles and how they move the rock around, it just seems to cap Donovan Mitchell. Rudy caps himself by not having enough offensively. He's not giving us that 19 points a game. He's going to be boards and blocks. Here the man is. Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, 21 years old, a walking triple-double. Luka Doncic is like young LeBron James with threes. You know how hype I am on him. My second overall player behind Giannis is Luka Doncic. I see nothing stopping him in sight. I see more upside. He didn't shoot the three that well that season. He shot better before. Kristaps on the naps. Porzingis, he's injured right now, so the knee never really got right. The Unicorn's having some issues with his lankiness and explosiveness. I don't know when he's going to be back. That leaves you with Powell. You got Jason Richardson brought over at the guard spot. He's going to be an upgrade on who was there. DeLone Wright, Seth Curry, whoever else. So Richardson could have some sneaky value here. Hardaway Jr., not sure how much he wants to shoot. Finney Smith, clever. Dwight Powell, okay. But not that any of those other guys are going to blow my mind. It's Luka Doncic, as much of it as you can get. I feel like I moved a name around here. I had Giles on. All right, interesting. So keeping it going, I think I might have done Portland twice as I'm like just scanning through this league list team by team. Let's keep it going. Lillard, did I have them in the East? Yeah, I did. So we don't need to do Portland again. Harry Giles, Gary Trent Jr. hype is coming up on Roto World, but it seems like it's Giles. Milwaukee, there's not much to say. There's John Morant, there's Valanciunas, there's Jaren Jackson Jr. We need to emerge. We got Clark, Slow Mo, Kyle Anderson. Kellen Winslow's there, and he just is gonna sap stats from everybody because he wants to play point guard. And they're like, "No, Kellen, no, Winslow, you're a small forward." He's like, "No, I want to carry the ball up." So we'll see how he mixes in. And Dylan Brooks, not a popular name, no sexy to Dylan Brooks' name, but he's playing well in the preseason and might want to take a little step forward. Phoenix, as I mentioned, DeAndre Ayton. We got Cam Johnson and Crowder at the power. Bridges. Chris Paul comes over to Phoenix. Old man Chris, the court veteran, the court general, and Booker. And I think that this is better for Booker than Rubio because Rubio is really not a good passer. He's just an over dribbler. And I think that he did sap Booker's numbers. So I look for Booker to come back and maybe give us a little bit more. I wish they would just keep the point guard out of here and just give Booker the ball the whole time. But Chris Paul's going to get his. Not an exciting player as he ages. San Antonio Spurs, oh man. DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge. Not attractive. DeMar is going to do most of the work. He gets some assists and some rebounds, so live there. Aldridge a little inconsistent. They have no center. So will Rudy Gay or Trey Lyles emerge? Will DeJounte Murray be unleashed? But Pop is just playing defense and matchups. It's just not an exciting team. You probably get DeRozan. Sacramento, I mentioned Whiteside. And De'Aaron Fox is the story here, getting the ball in his hands, playing fast. Needs to shoot more. There's a guard behind him, Halliburton. Buddy Hield is going to be better without Bogdanovich, where they're trying to debate who's our starting shooting guard. Harrison Barnes isn't going to do enough to be a factor. Jabari Parker is there. We've got Bagley, Holmes, Whiteside, and Bjelica in the front court. And again, I like Marvin Bagley. A little bit injury prone. I think he could take the step, but I'm not just banking on the step from Marvin unless I can get him for cheap. New Orleans Pelicans, obviously Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram, who we highlighted last year, was just going for free. A propensity to gun, putting his shoulder down, very aggressive to the rim. We got to get a Brandon Ingram in there. The guards have switched, so Lonzo Ball will run the point, but we've got Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe is a little bit more comfortable disappearing, might not need the rock as much. That's just going to push Alexander Walker back a little bit. Steven Adams came in from OKC, so now we got to deal with him on the front court, rebounding but not looking to score very much. Jackson Hayes is behind him. Lonzo, as much as he fixed the jumper, he still is just likes to give the assist, likes to dribble. He's not taking enough shots a game to really propel himself to the next level, so I'm a little down on Lonzo. Continue to go with Brandon Ingram, who looks like he's morphing into a Kevin Durant right in front of our eyes. Just a herkier, jerkier Kevin Durant with less passing, if you can say that. And Zion's going to be an absolute beast. Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo's been all over the place. It's hard to know who really D'Angelo is because he's a different person on Brooklyn than he is from Golden State, than he will be back on his originating team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. But yes, D'Angelo Russell gets his. So there's some safety from his propensity to gun. We got Ricky Rubio over there, who's not a good sign for anybody. He's not going to do enough for himself. He's not really going to help other players with Okogie trying to get better. The rookie Anthony Edwards, where's he going to fit into this mix? He might need some time to develop. It's Karl Anthony's team, obviously. But I like D'Angelo as a safe play there. Golden State, Steph. It's going to be all about Steph Curry getting his. Kyle Oubre, better than anticipated as his game starts to develop. Wiggins is there. Wiggins kind of blew up from Minnesota but got traded and just hasn't really reached the potential, but he's whiffing it a little bit. They're going to need him to win games. Draymond Green with Pascal. The front court is a mess with Kyle Looney, Marcus Chris, and the rookie Wiseman. A flyer on Wiseman. Chris has the best talent, but plays slow. You're gonna want pieces of Golden State because they're gonna move the rock a lot. So that's my kind of team by team to get your eyes on it. Let's just sort out the chips a little bit here. This is just my sheet. Tier these guys out, make sense of it. Antetokounmpo, Doncic, Harden, James. League of their own, ball in their hands, outrageous scoring, outrageous touches, outrageous assists and rebounds, no question. Get into this next group here. Trae Young, Russell Westbrook. Lock it in. Kawhi, but when healthy, mixed in with the Dame Lillard, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Beal, and Steph Curry. These are the gunner. These guys are going to get points. They're going to have the rock in their hand. There's not really any denying this. The kind of quiet tier that you got to kind of be aware of here emerging that I find is Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Ingram, and Tatum. They're not going to be priced like this, but that's where my head is to find some value because the reality of the topography of the league, those guys are going for theirs and they're very offensively skilled. Next, and the sexiness starts to wean off, but you still have to sort through these guys. I'll just give a couple names from each column. At the point guard spot, De'Aaron Fox, Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell. If you like old man certainty, Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry. At the shooting guard spot, you got McCollum looking for his, Jaylen Brown, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. At the small forward, a host of veterans, DeMar DeRozan, Wiggins, Middleton, and Jimmy Butler, combined with the Tobias Harris and maybe a Gordon Hayward. That's kind of that next tier of really solid small forwards. At power forward, I'm really high in Sabonis, Collins, and Siakam. I'm probably even higher on Zion Williamson where he is here with the Julius Randle, Kristaps if he was healthy, and then Christian Wood. I don't know. He blew up last season, so that's kind of where my high upside flyer is for cheap. At the center spot, I can't sleep on Vucevic, Jokic, Karl-Anthony Towns, Embiid, and a little bit of Valanciunas. But those four big men are really look league dominant. And then it just starts to scatter out. So I'll just give you some names I worked down. A Buddy Hield, a TJ Warren for shooting. Dinwiddie, but John Morant, who I probably need to move up a little bit. Bogdanovich was good. Sexton, Oubre, Montrezl Harrell, Devonta Graham, Van Vliet. So I can sort through this. I can come back and tighten it up a little bit. I'll just mention the big men with Harrell, Nurkic, Adebayo, Drummond, Whiteside, Ayton, Capella. That's really where you need to be. Power forward thins out. It's not worth getting into those guys. So these are my targets. These are my targets that I'm going to organize. But let's get over to some prices because prices is where it gets fun and we get to look at obvious mistakes. This is Yahoo Draft Analysis salary cap draft. I told you guys I was slamming it in. NBA auction draft strategy. Before we get into these players, let's just take a segment to some salary cap draft, not auction draft, salary cap draft. In the leagues where we've been doing salary cap over and over and guys know each other, the bidding is so aggressive to keep people off of players. The knowing if somebody wants a player or likes a player, the boxing out off of players is just there's so much targeting that you really have to be committed to your players. You have to be committed to paying outrageous prices. If you're looking at things scoring system wise, over a couple seasons when guys are in the same scoring system year after year, they'll start to figure that out. And you're not going to find values. You have to make values true to the scoring system and assume that your league is learning. You're going to have to do more, and I'm going to have to come up with more techniques to get guys off of your back. Price and force, fake bluff, chunk bid. It doesn't even work in year after year salary cap drafts where guys have been doing it, but it really is the most fun way to draft. So try to switch over. Let's get into these Yahoo salary cap draft prices, and let's talk about it. James Harden, number one, $75. Yeah, sure. I mean, he's a little older. Luka Doncic, Hold on, we gotta sort these because they got Doncic at 2. So the price is going up. Doncic is suggested at 47, but people are paying 69. Steph Curry at 72. I don't think so. I don't think so because the leg could go out. Anything could go out. Yeah, he has the team to himself. Yeah, he's a prolific scorer. The injury risk hurts me a little bit. I'd rather have 20-year-old Doncic than 31 or 32-year-old Steph. That's just my opinion. Will Steph be going nuclear? Will Steph average 45 a game? Maybe it's possible. We got Dame Lillard at 67, Trae Young at 59, LeBron at 54, kind of rounding out that tier, and then Russ at 40. So LeBron is going for value at 54. I probably prefer LeBron at 54 than Dame at 67. Not to disrespect any of these guys. There's no jokes here. Trae Young at 60, that's a steal again. I mean, if you don't even want to pay 70 for a guy, come down and get Trae at 60, you'll be okay. But if you're going for a more all-value team, Russ at 40 is cheap. It moves us down to a tier of $33 players. Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie Irving. They all have their issue. Ben isn't shooting enough. Donovan's not doing enough change, assists and rebounds on the side. Kyrie's an injury risk. And then we have Ja Morant at 28, who I love at that price. Ja's looking great. Ja has the team to himself. So I love Ja at 28. Drew Holiday, Kemba Walker, and Chris Paul. These are overpays. I don't want Kemba for 25. I don't really want Drew Holiday for 28 when I could have Ja Morant for 28. So there's a little bit too much speculation on what Drew's going to do, given how much Giannis needs the rock and pounds the rock in the middle of the lane. Chris Paul at 25, in his twilight years, that is a lot. De'Aaron Fox at 20, that's way too cheap for De'Aaron, who's continued to get better, with Jamal Murray and Kyle Lowry also at 19, and then John Wall at 19. Well, guys, Wall's better than Kyle Lowry and Murray. I'd rather have Wall than Chris Paul. So Wall coming at a huge discount at $20. That's very cheap. D'Angelo Russell, people having some hesitancy with D'Angelo at 17. That's cheap. But Van Vliet at 16, that I don't want. I much prefer D'Angelo Russell and his burning desire to take 20 shots a game with some smooth ball handling and assist work than Van Vliet, who's very undersized. CJ McCollum doesn't do anything off the ball. And then Lonzo Ball at 12. So that kind of rounds out the last big point guards. I mean, Lonzo at 12. D'Angelo at 17. No, D'Angelo there. Pay up. Get that propensity to shoot. You're going to need that on a night in and night out basis. Now we got some $5 players from the range from $6 to $9. Malcolm Brogdon, DeJounte Murray, Bledsoe, Tyler Hero, Marcus Smart, Mike Conley. So Mike Conley can't play for me, first of all. Marcus Smart doesn't do enough offensively. Tyler Hero gets hot, but I don't know if I can build my team around him. Eric Bledsoe is going to get lost in the New Orleans mess. DeJounte, Malcolm Brogdon. I'm not excited for any of those guys. Because then we have Devontae Graham for 5. Yeah, Devontae Graham. Devontae Graham's going to get his. He shoots more than Marcus. He's on the ball more than Tyler Hero. He's going to be turned loose more than DeJounte Murray. So I really like Devontae Graham at $5. Ricky Rubio at 5. Like that value will work out, but Rubio doesn't have upside for me. Kobe White for 4. Yeah. LaMelo Ball could be a wasted spot at only $3. Not very exciting. Derek White, no. Colin Sexton, he's injured right now, no for $3. And then you got a free spot, Markelle Fultz for $3. For free, guys. For free. Stash him on your bench. Calculate into the equation. He could go 20 and 5. He could go 25 and 5. He could be like a young, if you remember Tyreek Evans. I just think Markelle Fultz could blow up there. He's definitely worth the flyer at $3. More than Schroeder, Seth Curry, Rozier, LiAngelo. There's nothing else I want deep here. Spencer Dinwiddie's only $2. Killian Hayes is $1. That kind of rounds it out. Those are your targets. We're slamming it in. We've got 4 more positions here. Shooting guard. There's going to be some overlap. because of multi-position eligibility. So we're going to try to work around that to find our values. Harden, duh. Curry, duh. Doncic. Bronny even plays some 2 guard. Kawhi at 50. For how much games you're missing, I'm not sure. Bradley Beal with Westbrook coming in at 50. Bradley, why don't you get more assists? Shoots a lot of threes, 30 points a game, sure. Is he going to keep that up? But Devin Booker at 43, that seems cheap this year for young Devin, for the young sniper. Donovan Mitchell at 32, that's not really my guy. But then Shea Giggs for 30, yeah, all day. Shea Giggs for 30 over Donovan for 30, absolutely. Drew Holiday at 28. And then here we go, we've got the disrespected again. Drew Holiday, 28. But Zach LaVine for 21. Jamal Murray, D'Angelo, Van Vliet, and Klay Thompson, who I think is out for the season again. So LaVine's only $20. That's way too cheap. LaVine's better than Donovan Mitchell. LaVine's probably better than Drew Holiday. He's probably safer than Shea Giggs. So Zach LaVine for 21, I really like a lot. D'Angelo for 17 continues to look cheap at the shooting guard spot. Van Vliet, Klay Thompson, McCollum. I think Buddy Hield is better, but there are the nights off. DeMar DeRozan, he's just too journeyman for $14. He's too solid. And DeMar DeRozan for 14 over Lonzo for 12. Absolutely. Jaylen Brown for 12 is probably a slight discount. That kind of rounds out our 2-guard spot. Malcolm Brogdon, DeJunta, Oladipo, Wiggins, Bledsoe, Hero, Smart. So in there, Wiggins for 6? I mean, I cooled on Wiggins, but for 6, starting to get my interest back. Oladipo could emerge after he gets healthy. They're probably both more active than DeJunta is going to be. A lot of the same names. You got Kobe White maybe playing the 2 here. Anything else cheap? Colin Sexton, chucking. Karis LeVert for 3. That's way too cheap. That's a free spot. Talon Horton Tucker for $2. Have to put him on your team. RJ Barrett for $2? Did you guys just forget? What? He can't be $2? That's ridiculous. So there you have a couple free guys to get yourself going. We're right on track here to get this done. Small forward. Jason Tatum, $56. The love affair is out. The secret is out. There's no discount. They are building it. I mean, Jason Tatum for 56, but LeBron for 54? No, my friends. LeBron is better than Jason Tatum. I don't care what you think is going to be coming up for Jason Tatum in his future. Kevin Durant, 51. Kawhi Leonard, 51. LeBron over Kawhi. LeBron wants to play every game. Kawhi wants nights off. Devin Booker plays a little bit of small. Paul George for 42? That's legacy. That's legacy pricing right there. I mean, 40 for Paul George, it's probably worth it. It's just not much of a discount. Jimmy Butler getting that playoff money for $41, and then we fall into Shea Giggs for 30, Zach LaVine for 21. Brandon Ingram last year for 4, up to 18. He's probably a $30 player. Chris Middleton, not exciting, $21. Brandon Ingram is going to shoot a lot, guys. He really is. He's tall. He's going to get his. He's only going to get better. So I do like going back there. DeMar DeRozan, Hayward is $12. Jaylen Brown, Tobias Harris for $11. Just too cheap. Danilo Gallinari is going to come off the bench and average 17 and 6 for $9. Tobias Harris is going to average 19 and 9 for $11. So that's for free. The hype on Michael Porter, for Michael Porter to be $9, but Tobias Harris to be $11, Tobias Harris all day. TJ Warren for $8 for someone who doesn't pass or rebound, way too expensive relatively to what's around there. Aaron Gordon, oh, nobody wants him for $5. You could have that. It's safer than Anunoby. It's safer than Mikal Bridges or Clark. Aaron Gordon is better than a $5 player, but people are so disappointed in how unexciting he is that they push him down to a $5 value. You could get some of that. Bogdan Bogdanovic or Bojan Bogdanovic. Either one of those guys for only $4 looking to shoot. Porter Jr. just tired. Karis LeVert for $3 is almost cheap. Anything else really cheap here? Carmelo Anthony, yeah, tuck on your bench, only $2. Save a space for that. He looks like he's on a mission to reclaim his career. Horton Tucker, way too cheap with small forward eligibility. RJ Barrett all day long. Unbelievable. I do like DeAndre Hunter to kind of emerge possibly out of the Atlanta mix. Let's keep slamming it in. Power forward position. Anthony Davis, the big dog on the block, was a 75. Jokic 72. So yeah, I mean, so I can be behind Jokic, sure, but you're gonna have to spend your franchise on him. You have to spend most of your stack. And a $200 starting, can you spend 72 on Jokic? I don't know. Giannis for 69? I don't know how Anthony can go for 75 and Jokic can go for 72, but Giannis at 69. So if you do want to go get that stud from the big top three here, go up for Giannis. Jason Tatum at 56. Just go up for Giannis. Kevin Durant, $51 after an Achilles injury? I don't know about that. I'm not confident there between Joel Embiid, Collins, George, Jimmy Butler, and Adebayo around the $40 range. I think it's Paul George. I really like Embiid. You know, those prices are expensive. Everybody knows those names. And then you got good old Zion for 36. You know, that's exciting. I think there's a lot of upside there for Zion to potentially catapult himself up into the top 5 there. Siakam 27, Middleton, Porzingis, Brandon Ingram, Domantas Sabonis. And this is what I'm talking about. Sabonis for $18, that is nonsense. You know, Jaren Jackson, Christian Wood, LaMarcus Aldridge, Robert Covington still Covington in Portland now, getting passed around. So all day with Sabonis for 18. You have to make sure you get a piece of that. Ingram for 18 too. I like Sabonis even more than Ingram. More exciting to me than probably a Siakam, but I would go up and get Zion. So that's where my head is at for those guys. Jaren Jackson Jr. at 17, if he took the step forward. Sabonis took the step forward. Sabonis is there. Sabonis is beyond there. Jaren Jackson, we wish would get there. That's the difference on those players that are really close together. Christian Wood, no discount. Not the discount we're getting. $16 for Christian Wood, that's almost a lot. Because I don't know about the minutes. I don't know what Cousins is going to do in there. Yeah, sure, he'll be on a minutes limit, but those are going to be 20 good Cousins minutes. Aldridge, Robert Covington, $15. Just stop it. It's like a cruel joke that people are paying for Covington. Miles Turner for 13 is fairly cheap. Draymond, Whiteside for 11 is cheap. Tobias Harris for 11 is nothing. Danilo, Michael Porter, Oubre, Warren, Markkanen, all for 8. In there, I mean, Oubre is going to start and probably do the most in a good system. You can't trust Porter Jr. Gallinari is not exciting. Markkanen could continue to disappear. Kevin Love for 7 is a value. It just is. It's a growth. Blake Griffin for 7? That's insane. That's insane. Blake, I mean, that's just banking in like, oh, Blake's only going to play 3 games and get injured, so we can't trust him, so I'm not going to pay for him. But it's 7. I mean, get some and trade some, please. Julius Randle for 5. Aaron Gordon. Harrell for 44. Much better than Anunoby for 4. Bertans, no. Horford will be better. Rashawn Holmes is going to be up and down. Cousins for $3 is way, way too cheap. You got the Bogdanoviches. Otto Porter, too streaky. Ibaka, too streaky. Bagley, favors nothing really else there. So you've got some cheap guys. You've got some very cheap Cousins, some cheap Harrell, Julius Randle. There's a lot of options late, deep there. And I am going to be firing up an auction draft. I'll be bringing these strategies in, slamming it in further. We're going to go to the center spot and check out some salary cap prices. Anthony Davis, the big dog. Jokic. Giannis with center status, sure. Towns at $66. It's Giannis, it just is. Joel Embiid for 55. I'm coming around on that value. I do love me some Joel, so I like that there. I think that's better than John Collins because Joel is bigger. He has the front court to himself. He got rid of Horford. Collins gained himself Capella. DeAndre Ayton for 38. no discount there. That some of the upside is built in there for Ayton, a guy who's still young, who still does take nights off. Gobert for 30, that's too much for me for him having no offense. Siakam at 27, that's hangover hype from last season. A little expensive at 27. I might want to buy up or down. But here are the values. My God. Nikola Vucevic for 26. That is cheap. That's $16 under. Drummond for 25. Do you guys not look at his career numbers? 18 and 14. Constant double-double. So you got some values there. Sabonis again at 18 shows up on this list. Jaren Jackson Jr. 17. Nurkic at 17. Christian Wood at 16. So I like Wood, but I don't like Wood at this price anymore. So the hype is out. Everybody wants to be the Christian Wood hype machine. I'd rather have Nurkic coming back from injury. Aldridge, Covington, Mitchell Robinson for 14. He's not even going to start. I mean, Nerlens Noel is going to start. Mitchell could be 6-9 this season. For 14, you just can't do it for yourself. Miles Turner is much safer for $13. Capella for 12, he's going to get more rebounds. Whiteside going for pennies at 11. You got Draymond, Valanciunas, who I like. Markkanen, who's inconsistent. Blakey plays the center. Bryant, Randall, Adams, Harrell. A lot of values here. Bertrand's, maybe a three-point specialist, but Bertrand's doesn't rebound enough. Horford's career will resurge in OKC, so for $4, old man Al Horford will get back to doing his thing. DeMarcus Cousins is cheap. Jared Allen is blocked. Marvin Bagley's too young. Wiseman for a flyer. Bobby Portis, inconsistent. That's about it. That rounds it out there. Dwight Howard is in Philly. That's going to hurt some numbers. Chris Boucher in Toronto. Just a little appetizer before we move into the nuance of nuance adventure that is fantasy baseball. We just wanted to slam in some NBA for the three cat celebs, for the three different fantasy season celebs. If Roto World comes out with a list, if I refine some things, if some more information pops out, I know I slammed it in fast, but that was all you needed to dominate your salary cap drafts for the 2021 season. Let's get it.